Lorenzo C. With warm round of applause, let us all welcome today's Master of Ceremony, State Auditor Rasulem Saleh.
COAs who serve as public officials who always uphold public interest above all else. A simultaneous recital of the pledge to maintain integrity at all times. A reunion of all the members of COA XII family together with our respected VIP guests. This is the program for the mass recital of the COA Integrity Pledge. Good morning everyone, to all my fellow COAs, and to all the VIPs whom we welcome as our guests, my warmest greetings. Welcome to COA XII Regional Office here in Coronadal City. From the look of the faces I see around, I'm pretty sure we're about to witness something great today. To get the ball rolling, let us join our hands and welcome our ever-dynamic, ang pinakakugihan, and ever-beautiful COA XII Regional Director, Attorney Susan P. Donalvo, CPA, for the welcome remarks, recognition, and acknowledgement of guests. Let's give her love by welcoming her with a big round of applause.
Regional Director, Regional Supervising Auditors, Service Chiefs, my colleagues, kapamilya at kapuso sa COA Region 12, friends, a very pleasant morning to each and everyone. Today, tayo pong taga-COA Region 12, coming from the 4 provinces and 5 cities of Sub-Sargent Region, come together as one big family to this venue, the site, Barangay Paraiso, Purok Pag-asa, or in other way of saying it, Hope in Paradise, the new home for COA Region 12. Our gathering today is for the mass recital of the COA Integrity Pledge. While we claim that competence is our talent, equally important, our treasure is our integrity. It is obligatory upon each and every one of us, not only as COAs, but also as public officials. Today we have with us the Integrity Pledge to be administered by no less than our very own commissioner from Mindanao, particularly Davao, Attorney Roland C. Pundo. Sir, welcome once again to the new home of COA Region 12. Our gathering today is blessed also with the presence of a famous personality in the Commission on Audit, who once upon a time, an auditor, a supervising auditor in COA Region 12. So, please join me in welcoming Assistant Commissioner, although retired, Ascom Lulo. Ma'am, we are proud to be one with us in Region 12. And to the Honorable Commissioner Roland Pundo, may I have the honor to present to you the COA 12 personal profile. As of today, we are 243 warm bodies. We have 4 supervising auditors in the national government sector, namely Ms. Elmina Buenbraso, 4 inches, clusters 1 to 4. We have RSA Robert Cruz, cluster 5. Please stand to be recognized. We have Ms. Carmencita Talo for cluster 5 and 6. We have RSA Rodolfo Miranda for cluster 7. We have also 2 regional supervising auditors for the corporate government sector We have Orlando C. Matas. We have also our UN auditor, Ray Silampo, for cluster 4, 5, and 6 of the corporate government sector. For the local government sector, we have our LGSA supervising auditor, Helen Lavilla, covering North Cotabato and Kidapawan City. We have also Ms. Ahisa Johanna, covering Tutan Kudarat Province and cities of Cotabato and Tacloban. We have also Ms. Cathy Factora for South Cotabato Province and Coronadal City. And Ms. Amparo Pamintuan for General Santos City and Province of Sarangani. For the state universities and colleges, we have supervising auditor Elsie Kioy. For the water district, supervising auditor Nancy Villarisa. Yours truly, sir, is the regional director. And I am assisted with our beautiful assistant regional director, Virginia Villa-Tugon. We have also our service chief in the administrative training and finance services, who is at the same time the concurrent service chief of ITS, Engineer Agan. We have our service chief in the regional technical services, Ms. Rose Mustafa. Our legal services, Attorney Honey May Morris Oguera. Our beautiful service chief of the fraud audit services, Ms. Lilian Haya. Did I miss anyone? Wala? And we are the support staff and personnel of COA Regional Office, as well as those assigned in the provincial satellite audit offices. We have also with us today, sir, our auditing leaders of the national government sector, corporate government sector, and the local government sector. With them are the respective audit team members. So sa ating lahat, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this ceremony. Magandang umaga po.
Thank you very much to our dear COA XII Regional Director, Attorney Susan P. Donalvo, CPA. Our Regional Director never fails to astonish us with her great energy, commanding presence, and great charisma. Not only that, every time she speaks, learnings we surely get. And now, we proceed to the next part of our program. I'm sure everyone noticed the hashtag #IamProIntegrityCOA shown on printed materials and online communications. Most probably, and I'm sure many of you are guilty about this, our eyes at some point were glued on the lower back portion of our fellow COANs during the palaro. I see guilty faces, but not for odd reasons, but due to curiosity about what this sort of millennial hashtag thing stands for. I'm sure all of you noticed that the hashtag #IamProIntegrityCOA was printed on everyone's official uniform during the palaro, particularly at the lower back portion. What does this hashtag stand for? For the information of everyone, #IamProIntegrityCOA stands for the Intensified Management Program on Integrity of COA. I took down notes, at least mentally, about the salient points and the reasons why we have this kind of program in this commission. In addition to what was presented in the AVP, I inform everyone that the conduct of COA Integrity Management Program is among the many goals of the Commission as stated in its 2016-2022 Strategic Plan. Among the many activities under this program is the conduct of administering the Integrity Pledge among all COA officials and employees. It aims to strengthen the moral uprightness of COA employees by renewing their promise to faithfully perform their duties and responsibilities as servants of the public. The execution of this program is led by our highly respected Honorable Commissioner Roland C. Pundok. We, the COA XII employees, are happy and honored that our dear Commissioner Roland C. Pundok came all the way to Coronadal City to personally give us an inspirational message. As this highly respected commissioner of COA needs no further introduction, without much further ado, let us warmly welcome with a big, big, big round of applause our beloved Honorable COA Commissioner Roland C. Pundok.
First, to my COA family, of course, to Regional Director Ma'am Donalvo, who was once my teacher in the college in the University of Mindanao. She was teaching then government accounting. And of course, Assistant Director. And then ASCOM, of course, ASCOM Lilu, who is now our consultant for the GAD. And of course, everyone, maayong buntag sa inyong tanan. Good morning po, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. I'd like to say thank you everyone for your warm welcome. This is my second time here in Coronadal. Well, I've been going through Surala before, but this is second time na nakastay yun ko lugay sa Coronadal. Doing this important job as a Commissioner of Commission and Audit. I was appointed last year, and this is now my 1 year and March, April, May, June, 4th month. So, mari wala makabalo. Ako nag-countdown na ko kasi mga 5 years and ang nabilin. But I would like to have something which I consider it as a legacy. Everyone naman sa to din sometime in our life that we wish that once we leave our organization, at least natay mabilin. Natay legacy na mabilin. Like in our case, we have a fixed term, but all of you are plantilla positions and you will be here even if wala na mga commissioners after the fixed term. So it is my wish, it's my duty as a commissioner to at least after having my fixed term, na ako'y ma-contribute to the Commission and Audit, whether what kind of contribution, like this one, conducting the Integrity Pledge and trying to remind everyone and about the requirement for us as a public servant doing this Integrity Pledge. I started this Integrity Pledge actually when I was the president of PICPA Davao. All new CPAs, I prepared also an Integrity Pledge for the newly passed CPA. After they will be accepted to the PICPA organization, I asked them during the oath taking to also take an oath for Integrity Pledge. And what is my purpose? My purpose then was kung asa man sila maadto, what sector, academe, government, commerce industry, or in, what else? Sa Malayan, government, there are 4 sectors. Whatever sector sila mahulog, they will instill in their mind kung sa to ilahang i-pledge. And I made it personally very clear to them that this will be your pledge. And that is also my intention here for the COA employees. In fact, I have read one of the compendious articles about integrity. And I would like to share it with you this morning. I hope masulod sa inyong kasing-kasing, sa inyong mind, ang purpose of this article, which I totally agree. Prepared by Butterby. In fact, aside from my personal values that guide me in making decisions, this article also served as my mentor, which leads me in choosing the harder right instead of the easier wrong. And it somehow goes like this. Integrity is how somebody leads their life. In this life we live, we face choices every day that only we can answer. We dictate how we run our own lives, and the way we run them defines us. Integrity is doing the right thing versus the wrong thing. People, if nothing else, can always have their pride as their integrity. It is something that means a lot to some people, and then nothing to others. The ones who value their integrity highly are the good people in this world. And the opposite is true for those who do not value such attitude. Integrity has been defined as moral soundness, honesty, freedom from corruption, influence, or motive. You know, I am an appointed commissioner of PRRD, and I would like to make my objective for COA align to the objective of the President, which is to curb the corruption in the government. Now, integrity is absolutely vital in the commission and audit. In fact, no one is indispensable in observing integrity as the all-encompassing value. In fact, if a community, if an organization like us, and the ones belong within has no integrity, it brings down the whole area around it. Integrity means being true, including of being fair in all our undertakings, to ourselves, and being honest, upright, and honorable in all of our dealings with others. When we are guided by integrity, our thoughts and words are in line with each other. Our actions align with our principles. Our conduct speaks for us more eloquently than the words ever could. It becomes the basis for both reputation and self-respect. Integrity demands courage but delivers untroubled sleep. Developing integrity requires internal honesty because we can't be honest with others unless we are honest with ourselves. It requires self-awareness since we cannot accurately communicate what we do not know. The amount of integrity that one has defines who they are as a person. Being a public servant, like all of us here in COA, it means taking all of our or your integrity and letting every ounce of it show in everything that we do. People of integrity can be counted on to stand up for what is right, even if it is execrated, and to behave with dignity, even when there is no one around to see one perform these actions. Integrity allows other people to put their trust in us because they know that we value our commitments and seek to live by them in all things. It is one of the cornerstones of loving relationships and shared endeavors. I'm not saying we have no integrity here. All of us do not have integridad. But sometimes, as mentioned sa COA XII, even mentioned in our Lord's Prayer, there is a temptation. And that is why I'm doing this to remind everyone, just to remind everyone. I was affected when I went to one of the universities in Mindanao and allow students to ask questions about commission and audit, because that is also one of my strategies of informing the students, especially the accountancy students, of what is COA all about, and probably they will be interested to enter into COA. And one of the intriguing and interesting question was usually, who audits commission and audit? And I explained to them that we have our own external auditor. And in fact, when it comes to integrity of choosing who are our external auditors, who are coming from our employees also, I told them, can you imagine, our external auditors even issued disallowance to the chairperson. So that is how very good ang atong auditors na very isog yun. They mahadlok. But that is not all. I was even asked, so, asa mo accountable? Because they always say, if you're a secretary of a government agency, you'll be accountable to the president because you're the alter ego of the president. So if you did something, the president can fire you. But kamo, COA, kakinsa mo accountable? Kinsa may mag-monitor sa inyo? Kinsa may mag-check sa inyo? I was struck with that question. But I still answered him, or that guy, the student. I said, to the people, we are accountable to the people. But first and foremost, we are accountable to the Creator. That's our accountability. That's it. That should be our idea when it comes to accountability. The president cannot fire us, cannot fire you. But our accountability is to our Creator. Aside from the people, must higher. And we should know why we are here with the COA. Now, if I may continue, it is very important to realize that others pay attention to those you have chosen to associate with. And they will inevitably judge your character by the character of your friends. And why is that? It is best explained by a quote that says, when you lie down with dogs, you will definitely get fleas. Inevitably, we become more and more like the people we surround ourselves with day to day. If we surround ourselves with people who are dishonest and willing to cut corners to get ahead, then we'll surely find ourselves following a pattern of first enduring their behavior, then accepting their behavior, and finally adopting their behavior. If we want to build a reputation of persons with integrity, then let us surround ourselves with people of integrity. It may seem like people can gain power quickly and easily if they're willing to cut corners and act without constraints of morality. Dishonesty may provide instant gratification. Yes, in the moment, but it will never last. Definitely, it will never last. I'm sure we can think of several examples of people without integrity who are successful and who win without ever getting caught, which creates a false perception of the path to success that one should follow. After all, each of those kinds of persons could have gained the result they wanted in the moment, but unfortunately, that momentary result comes at an incredibly high price with far-reaching consequences. Those persons have lost their ability to be trusted as a person of integrity, which is the most valuable quality anyone can have in their life. Profit in pesos, profit in power is temporary, but profit in a network of people who trust you as a person of integrity is definitely forever. So may forever. As for me, in looking for people to hire in this commission and audit, I look for three qualities. One is integrity, second, intelligence, and the third is energy. And if they don't have the first one, which is integrity, then the other two will kill you. Will kill the organization. Will kill the entire community. Nalay kay intelligence, na kay energy, pero wala kay integridad. But definitely, the organization will crumble down. A person's dishonesty will eventually catch up to them, may not be today, and it may not be for many years, but you can be assured that at some point there will always be a reckoning. A word of advice to those who are striving for reputation of integrity. Avoid those who are not trustworthy. Do not do business with them. Do not associate with them. Do not make excuses for them. And do not allow yourself to get enticed into believing that while they may be dishonest with others, they would never be dishonest with you. Di na tinood. If someone is dishonest in any aspect of his life, you can be guaranteed that he will be dishonest in many aspects of his life, including you as a friend. Magiging dishonest din yan. Now, when I was in the OP, or the Office of the President as Assistant Executive Secretary, I was the one in charge for the finance of the ASEAN 2017. And it was a very tough challenge for me at that time. Because I was the only one appointed by PRRD to man the ASEAN 2017. The rest, lain-lain silang administration. And it was budgeted for 12 billion pesos. But after 252 meetings, I only spent 6 to 7 billion, saving 5 billion pesos. And the President was very happy at that time because he wanted more cash to help Marawi in 2017. So, paano nangyari yun? From 12 billion budget, it becomes only 6 or 7 billion budget. While I was not part of the creation of the budget, but when I was appointed, budget was already there. The opinion of all people there was that to spend the entire 12 billion because it was a budget. And I said no. So I made some actions na dili pwede ni. Because dili siya kailangan. So everybody's against me. Ako lang magkaon isa, wala yung modules ko It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Wala ako'y pakialam kung di sila manuols ko kaya suko sila, kaya dili nila masunod ang ilang gusto. Which is really a test also of your attitude, your behavior, and your character. We as public servants, if we think that our position is an entitlement rather than a chance for us to serve our country, medyo delikado na. We should not think our position to be our entitlement. Let us think that this is a chance for us to serve our country. Government is the best employer. Why? Natay sweldo. Sigurado natay sweldo. Sa una, siguro I heard a story before na wala time na walay sweldo because iutang pa before. But now, wala na yun na. The government provides benefits na kailangan nato. Leave, tanan. The government provides pensions pag nag-retire na ta. So everything is given by the government. The government provides a higher salary now compared to private companies. Pero unsa lang ginapangayo sa gobyerno sa tuwa? Only to do our job correctly and with integrity. I know it's very hard. Lisod. Dili sa pwede sa katulog lang. And that is why I'm here. I'm trying to remind everyone. And that is part of the program that we should be reminded of what are the rules and regulations. You know, integrity pledge is a requirement for promotion. So everyone, balumang yung na mag-apply na kita promotion in the future, so you have to sign the integrity pledge. Wala siya pagsanay. And this is a personal pledging. So kung gusto niyo mag-pledge, pledge ta karon. We will sign, and we all sign, because the regional director will sign. In fact, we can also make it notarized so that If you violate intentionally, then not tayo pwede buhaton. And that is one of the reasons why I prepared the document. But that is intentionally. Malagyan na yung mga temptations. Kaya if you will do it intentionally, definitely, entonces yung tana. Pero kung mga cases na wala man dituyo, we can help each other and try to check kung unsay mabuhat nato. But you know, again, this integrity pledge that I've already made in Mindanao, entire Mindanao, after this, except ARM. So, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ano ba yung 13? Wala mo siya 13. So, after this, naman na ako ang 13 is Caraga. Ano ba? Tapos na ako sa Caraga. So, only ARM ang nabiling dire. For Visayas, I finished Cebu, Iloilo. So, we have a schedule for Bacolod next month. And then for the entire Luzon, ang kulang na lang is Region 2 and Region 5. I think 4. Wala pa. 1, 3, Mana. And the central office. But you know, this kind of activity, very important activity for the commissioner, for having a chance of the commissioner to talk to the people around different regions and to ask them for any problems, any recommendations na pwede nato mahimo with the COA through the CP. And since I'm one of the CPs, next year it will be a new commissioner naman, pero I don't know kung kinsa. But definitely, we are aligned to our program. This one is our program. This Integrity Pledge is our program. As part of the Integrity Management Program. Because we wanted to make it, to start it with the CP, the highest body of the organization, going down. Mo ang purpose sa IMP. And so, this program this morning, as I mentioned, the purpose is to pursue, to create a culture of integrity within COA. And again, reminding all officials and employees of the Code of Conduct and ethical standards for public officials and employees, the revised Code of Conduct and ethical standards for co-officials and employees, and the anti-graft and corrupt practices and other laws pertaining to good governance. Likewise, this integrity pledge is also a symbol, your symbol of renewing your commitment as public servants. Now, for those persons still possessing the old cynical mind, who don't believe that this program would somehow change the old views curbing corruption and practicing good governance, I would suggest for you to have a paradigm shift. You know, when I started this, there are people in COA, medyo natandog ang espiritu, and they would undermine the project, the program. Pero, hindi makamadaan nila. So, bahala mo, pakilabot mo. Probably, they are affected with this kind of attitude. It's the first time that they have met this kind of problem. So, you are not only solving the problem, you've been here for a long time. These persons are very cynical and thinking that this program will not create anything at all. I'm telling them, you've been here for a long time in COA, pero naba mo yung gibuhat. Wala. Here comes a person na nagsugod, trying to create a culture of integrity within the COA, and then you question, you make issues, you make stories. So I tell them, you better change, you shift your paradigm. And having said that, it would only show that these persons, as I said, does not only provide solutions, but they are the problems within the organization. However, for those of us, especially the millennials. You know, millennials, very important to this organization. Please always be inspired to do your job, to do your work with integrity. Because kamo ang pag-asa ng COA. As I said, I'm only good for 7 years. I might not give you benefit na financial because I'm just a commissioner. I'm also sweldato. But at least we can pull ourselves together and at least the people outside COA would change their thinking about what is COA. Somehow, mausap ang ilang na because di na ito may resale na COA. Somehow, if we do something about this, since we still believe that integrity, transparency, and the fight against corruption have to be part of our culture and be taught as fundamental values in the Commission, then we are all one in this program. That is our ultimate goal. Dili siya madali. Pero kabalo man ko na Bisaya man tatanan. I don't know if Bisaya tatanan. Pero ako as Bisaya, I believe na pag ang tubig gikan sa dayong, nagsigig kahulog sa bato nga bantilis, malingki ra gyud ang kadugayan. That is why I've been going everywhere just to remind everyone that we have our duty, why we are here in COA. That's all. Thank you and good morning.
What a very inspiring message from Honorable Commissioner Roland C. Bundok. Wow, it's like initiating changes like how Martin Luther King did it in the past. He mentioned about legacy, he explained something about integrity. Integrity is how you live your life faced with everyday decisions. Integrity requires us to choose the right choice, even if the right decision is the harder decision to make. So I hope everyone was able to take some relevant pieces of wisdom from what our Honorable Commissioner shared to us. And now, to keep the momentum, I think cultural presentation might be of good use. Now, let's proceed to the next part of the program. Being men and women of integrity requires us to be persons who exude the highest degree of excellence, professionalism, intelligence, and skill. But modesty aside, I'm sure you guys agree that the COAs from Region 12 are more than just that. Because we have this little extra talent we can proudly showcase. How to better use that talent wisely? Use it to entertain and at the same time, present valuable insights about the great concept of integrity. some serious talents, huh? Who says we only do audit and office works? We also have talents to showcase. Once again, let us give some love to the COA XII performing artists. I know you guys have not heard enough of COA XII talents. So allow me to distract you by talking about some other topics. So let's move on to the next part of our program. This is equally interesting as now we are moving closer to the heart of why we are having this program. We are about to learn the legal basis of why we, as public servants, are bound to uphold the highest degree of attainted integrity. To give us an overview of Republic Act number 6713, otherwise known as the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees, let us welcome the gorgeous lawyer from the COA XII Fraud Audit Services, the stunning Attorney Joan B. Beltran. Let's welcome her with a big round of applause.
Mayong buntag. Apil matagkahangak na to, oy. A pleasant morning to everyone, to my fellow COANs, and to our distinguished guests. As earlier performed as we witnessed, it said that talking is not enough. We must do. And in so doing our official functions and duties, let us be guided by RA 6713, or the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. In line with this constitutional mandate for accountability of public servants and to uphold the time-honored principle that public office is a public trust, RAC 713 was enacted. Now, for one of the salient points of RAC 713 is the norms of conduct. Next slide. Norms of conduct of public officials and employees. Now, what are the standards of personal conduct in the discharge and execution of official duties? First, we have commitment to public interest. Public servants, that refers to us, are tasked to uphold the public interest over and above personal interest. It must always be over and above personal interest. We are expected to devote our undivided attention to our public duties. That is why it is one of the prohibited acts under Section 7, which we will discuss later on, to engage in other employment, Because we must, as public servants, we owe it to the public to devote our undivided time and attention to service, as well as the government resources must only be utilized for public use. Next is professionalism. To call a person a professional is to describe him or her as competent or efficient. He or she is capable of delivering excellent service to the public. That is why we are obligated to be mindful of our actuations, which might reflect on the government service as a whole. Next is justness and sincerity. What is just? It means fair. And what is sincerity? It means honest. As public servants, we must live up to the strictest standards of honesty and integrity in the public service and must at all times be above suspicion. We must not discriminate, we must not distinguish when we render our service or extend undue favors to one particular person. Next is political neutrality. What does political neutrality mean? It means that we must render service without distinction to everyone, regardless of party affiliation or preference, and without discrimination. Next is responsiveness to the public. How prompt and immediate do we have to respond to public requests and petitions? Anyone? Anyone can guess? Under RA 6713 and its implementing rules, we must act on petitions or requests within 15 working days. That is regardless of whether or not the petition or request is written or verbal. We must act on it within 15 working days. Next is nationalism and patriotism. That means loyalty to the public, pride of country and people, and patronage of locally produced goods and resources. Next is commitment to democracy. And finally, simple living. This actually re-echoes Article 11, Section 1 of the Constitution, that public officers must lead modest lives. Does this mean that we cannot enjoy, such as eating out? Di ba na tayo pwede mag-buffet? Di na ba tayo pwede mag-bakasyon? No. This only means to lead modest lives appropriate to our positions and income. Prohibited acts and transactions. What constitutes prohibited acts and transactions? First is financial and material interest. This doesn't mean that we cannot own any other business interest. We cannot put up a sari-sari store, a grocery store, a poultry. This doesn't mean that we can no longer engage in any business interest. This only means that we cannot engage in any financial or material interest in a transaction requiring the approval of our office. So we can still put up a sari-sari store, a small tindahan. Next is outside employment and other activities related thereto. As previously explained, as I already mentioned, our commitment to public service requires that we must devote our undivided time and attention to public service. We are prohibited from engaging in any other employment outside. However, we may engage in the private practice of profession if it is allowed by law and it will not conflict with our official functions. For example, in my case, can I teach, for example, in NDMU, can I accept a teaching engagement there? The answer is it depends. If the teaching schedule would occupy government time, that is not allowed. Government time means that is 8 to 5. However, if the teaching job is at night, that is allowed. Now, next, can I represent a client before the office of the Ombudsman? Can I? In a case decided by the Supreme Court entitled Fajardo versus Alvarez, the Supreme Court said, no, that is prohibited. That falls under the prohibition because I am an employee of the government. The office of the Ombudsman is part of the government. If you represent the interests of the client, that would tantamount to going against the government itself, who is my employer. So that falls under the prohibition of against outside employment. Next is disclosure and or misuse of public confidential information. As public officials and employees, we are not allowed to divulge classified information officially known to us by reason of our office and not made to the public. And finally, solicitation or acceptance of gifts. Are all gifts not allowed under this prohibition? Not all gifts, because we have 5 exemptions. First is unsolicited gift of nominal or insignificant value, not given in exchange of a favor from the public officer. and given after the transaction is made. So the important things to remember there, first, the gift must be unsolicited. It is nominal or of insignificant value and not in exchange for a figure. So what does nominal or insignificant value mean? Well, that will depend on the circumstance of each case. And we have to consider three factors. First is the salary of the officer or the employee, the frequency or infrequency of the giving, and last, the expectation of benefits. So we can still accept gifts for as long as it is unsolicited and of nominal or insignificant value. Next, are gifts from family members allowed? Under RA 6713, gifts from family members are allowed as well as from relatives. Now we have to take note that under RA 6713, what are considered family? Only the spouse and unmarried children under 18 years of age. So they can give gifts which will not fall under the prohibition. Gifts given by family members or relatives will not fall under the prohibition. Now, what about relatives? The scope of the relatives is also limited by RA 6713 because under 6713, relatives is defined as any person within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity. So, gifts given by any person within the fourth civil consanguinity of or affinity of the officer is still allowed and will not fall under the prohibition. What about nominal donations? What are nominal? Nominal, meaning of small amounts, nominal or significant value. They are allowed for as long as the person who gave the donation has no pending transaction with the office and there is no expectation of benefits. What about the donations during the Yolanda or during the Marawi siege? Those are of extremely significant value. Were they allowed? Yes, because they fall under donations from private organizations which were accepted for humanitarian or altruistic purposes. So yung donations for the rehabilitation and aid of those who were affected by the calamities, they are not included in the prohibition under this article. Next are statements and disclosures. What is included under this section? We have our SALN. Now take note, the SALN must reflect the real properties, the personal properties, and other assets, liabilities, and business interests, not only of the public officers and employees concerned, but also those of the spouses and the unmarried children under 18 years of age living within the household. When do we file our SALN? Within the 30 days after assumption of office, on or before April 30 every year thereafter, and within 30 days after separation from service. We file our SALN here in the regional level to the Deputy Ombudsman for Mindanao, where it will be kept and made available to the public for 10 years. Divestment. The requirement for public officers and employees to divest themselves of business interests upon the assumption of office is prompted by the need to prevent conflict of interest. If there is no showing of any conflict of interest, there is no need to divest the business interest. Divestment is not necessary. What if there is a conflict of interest? What should the employee or the public officer do? He or she should resign from position in the private enterprise within 30 days from assumption and to divest himself of the shareholdings. Now take note that the divestment should not be made to the spouse of the officer or employee or to any relative within the fourth civil degree. The divestment should be made to any other person other than the spouse and the relatives within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity or affinity. No penalties. Any violation of RA 6713 will merit a fine, suspension, or removal. However, a violation of Section 7, 8, or 9 will be meted with a more severe penalty. What is Section 7? Section 7 pertains to the prohibited acts and transactions. If you have financial or material interest, outside employment, solicitation or acceptance of gifts, and disclosure of confidential information. What is Section 8? Our SALN, the filing of SALN. And 9 is divestment. So if you violate any of those sections, the penalty is imprisonment not exceeding 5 years or a fine not exceeding 5,000 pesos and remove disqualification to hold public office. If one is found guilty in an administrative proceeding, that is sufficient cause for removal or dismissal of the public officer or employee, even if there is no criminal prosecution. And private persons who act in conspiracy as co-principals, accomplices, or accessories in the commission of a violation of RA 6713 will be tried jointly together with the public officers and employees. Those are the salient features for RA 6713. Daghang salamat. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Attorney Joan Beltran, Attorney 5 of the COA 12 Fraud Audit Services, for enlightening us regarding RA number 6713, or the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. Attorney Beltran shared about our responsibilities, the general principles, and the penalties, all this in support of the state's policy to promote a high standard of ethics in public service. To promote to ensure that the public officials and employees shall at all times, not just sometimes, be accountable to the people, and that all public officials and employees are bound to discharge their duties with utmost responsibility, integrity, competence, and loyalty, act with patriotism and justice, lead modest lives, and uphold public interest over personal interests. Now, did you know that the Commission on Audit has issued its own Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards, specially tailored for COA officials and employees? Oh, I bet you surely do. The Commission on Audit has issued COA Resolution number 2018-10, dated February 1, 2018. It prescribes the revised Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for COA officials and employees. To give a brief discussion of the salient points of the said COA resolution, let us welcome the other gorgeous lawyer now coming from the COA 12 Legal Services sector, the equally stunning Attorney Hanime G. Mori Sobiera. Let's join our hands to welcome her with a big round of applause.
Guests seated at the presidential table are Honorable Commissioner and Assistant Commissioner, or Regional Director and Assistant Regional Director, fellow COANs. This is the revised Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for COA officials and employees. So as mentioned by our host, this is prescribed by COA Memorandum number 2018-007. Now we may ask, na-discuss mo kanina yung 6713. Why do we need to have our own code of conduct? It is because our functions, our duties, our responsibilities are unique as compared to other public officials and employees. And we must realize that the discharge of our functions is critical to the integrity of each office. Why? Mainly because we are in charge of the adjudication of the claims against government funds. So in short, merong involved na public funds. Therefore, there is a pressure or a standard that should be met when we perform our respective functions. Na-mention ko kanina, first slide, is the concept of public office is a public trust. I know po ilang beses na natin itong narinig, pero minsan, medyo nakakalimutan natin. So, alalahanin muna natin, what is public office is a public trust concept. It means that we as officers are mere recipients of public trust. In other words, we do not own the position or the authority given to us. Pinagkatiwala lang yun sa atin ng taong bayan. And accompanying that is our obligation to perform our tasks honestly, truthfully, efficiently, and with competence and integrity. That is why the revised Code of Conduct sets forth the following norms. Or ito yung i-guide sa atin, or gagayad sa atin, paano natin i-perform ang ating functions. So we have 13 norms. The one in the blue here, yan po yung norms sa 6713, which was already discussed. The COA Revised Code of Conduct added 5 more norms, which are competence, integrity, independence, confidentiality and transparency, and work, dedication, and commitment in the highest degree. So our regional director has mentioned that competence is our talent, while integrity is our treasure. Nandun yun sa ating revised Code of Conduct. So, competence, alam natin, meron tayong skills, meron tayong qualifications with respect to the performance of our job. Independence, it means that we are never swayed with our judgment, with our own appraisal, with our study of the cases or the accounts given to us or entrusted to us. Confidentiality and transparency, we have the COA Memorandum 2013-003 or COA Circular, which governs po yung requests for documents. So meron pong limitations yon and may conditions to be met. Work, dedication, and commitment in the highest degree, of course, that is equivalent to performing your work with excellence. And the reason why we are here is because of this principle of integrity. So pag nag-guide po tayo that integrity is doing what is right, performing our job with honesty, even if it means choosing the harder right. Yun po yung sinabi sa atin ni Commissioner kanina. So etong norms na ito dapat yung sinusunod natin sa araw-araw na pag-perform natin ng ating functions. Otherwise, the confidence of the people in the Commission on Audit will really be affected. Now, in terms of enforcing these norms, in terms of the observance of these norms, merong kalakip na prohibited acts and transactions. So, itong prohibited acts and transactions, in essence, na-capture na po siya ng 6713. It's just that the code, the revised code, specifically enumerates the circumstances which affect the COA officials and employees. Number 1, receipt in cash or in kind of compensation not authorized by law from your respective auditees. So number 2, solicit or accept both directly or indirectly gifts, favors, kasama na dyan yung loans sa ating parang mga auditees. Sinama ko po ito kasi merong illustration, may case po na although hindi in-apply yung ating COA Code of Conduct kasi this is relatively new, but there are a series of cases before the implementation of this Code of Conduct which date back to 2013-2014, decided cases by the Commission proper where there's a certain agency, actually that was MWSS, the COA audit team there was found to have received bonuses amounting to more than 10 million for a period of more than 5 years. So every year tinatanggap nila from 1999 to 2007. And then meron pa silang car assistance program. Yung MWSS po kasi, meron silang sariling fund na pwedeng ma-avail ng empleyado. Pag gusto mag-acquire ng bagong sasakyan, yung empleyado magpo-provide lang ng 40% na down payment and yung 60% isu-shoulder ng MWSS Equity Fund. Ang nangyari pati yung audit team na dapat exclusive lang siya sa employees ng MWSS, nag-avail din sila. Another pa ng kanilang in-avail, may mga kanya-kanya pa silang back honorarium. So, di ba, hindi sila back members, pero nag-receive din sila ng back honorarium. And then, meron pa isang program na in-avail din nila, MWSS Employees Housing Project. So, may kanya-kanya silang defenses. One of them was yung car plan, hindi siya ma-consider na government funds kasi sa government, sa employees fund daw yun. But the COA Commission proper ruled otherwise and found them guilty of grave misconduct and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service and violation of reasonable office rules and regulations. And one of them was suspended pa for 1 year without pay and pinapa-refund pa sa kanila lahat ng mga na-receive nila. So it is necessary to point out that kung tayo na sa auditing natin, alam natin kung ano yung dapat na tinatanggap at hindi tinatanggap. Yung allowed lang ng law, yun lang yung pwede natin tanggapin. Otherwise, we may be penalized for administrative and even criminal sanctions. Criminal under RA 1319 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. Sa number 2 naman, one example would be another agency na nag-avail siya ng loan or nangutang siya sa pera ng isang agency. Pinalabas lang na cash advance for a certain activity, but after the investigation, it was found out na utang pala yun ng auditing leader sa agency na yun. So, sipin natin na merong ibang agencies or merong avenues where we can secure loans and that is through the GSIS or Pag-ibig. Yun yung authorized sa atin na mag-acquire ng loans. Number 3 would be to engage in unnecessary or unwarranted relations with contractors, suppliers who have pending or concluded. Why? Because it is our job to avoid any relationship that tend to arouse the suspicion of the public that there is a conflict of interest. Ibig sabihin, kung meron tayong makakatransact na suppliers, pag makita kasi ng mga taong bayan na si auditor ganito or si COA employee na ganito, close siya doon sa supplier na yun. Hindi natin maiwasan na magduda yung ibang tao na kaya siguro siya nakasecure ng transaction sa COA dahil friend niya si ganito. So iniiwasan natin yun kasi we have to maintain our independence, our impartiality, and our objectivity. Kasi pag nagduda yung tao na hindi natin ginagawa yung ating trabaho without impartiality, iniisip nila na meron tayong pinapaboran. Halimbawa sa procurement, kung iniisip nila na etong si ganitong contractor, kaya lang naman siya yung nanalo sa bidding is because close siya kay auditor ganito or kay engineer ganito. So iwasan natin yun kasi magkakaroon ng problema sa confidence ng taong bayan sa ating auditors, sa COA as a whole. Next, eto medyo common, recommend and or facilitate the employment of their relatives within the 4th civil degree of consanguinity or affinity. So dito po, meron tayong COA resolution prescribing yung allowed employment. Although there are certain limitations, especially with respect to relatives within the 3rd civil degree, it is not absolute na bawal silang i-employ. Meron lang specific exemptions na yun lang yung pwedeng i-employ. Ganun din sa ating 4th civil degree. Ang iniwasan lang natin dito is si auditor or si COA official or employee ay nag-i-exert ng influence sa agency para ma-hire yung kanyang anak, asawa, or any other relatives within the 3rd civil degree. There is a case, COA Decision 2014, merong ATL ng DepEd Regional Office number 6. Ang ginawa niya, na-facilitate niya yung pag-hire ng kanyang nephew as disbursing officer sa isa sa high school doon sa region. Yung eldest son naman niya na-assign sa property department. as an employee. And yung kanyang bunsong anak, job order din sa DepEd Division. So ang sabi ng COA, hindi mo na-observe yung Code of Conduct kasi nga hindi tayo pwedeng mag-recommend. At that time, COA resolution pa yung COA Memorandum 86-50 yung prevailing. Pero in spirit, they're the same here kasi sabi dito ni ATL, qualified naman na daw yung kanyang anak na dalawa and qualified din yung pamangkin niya. Sabi ni COA Commission Proper, that's beside the point. Kasi iniwasan natin si auditor nag-assert siya ng influence niya sa agency para makapasok sa trabaho yung kanyang kamag-anak. So what happened was she was found guilty of simple misconduct and violation of reasonable office hours and regulation, and she was suspended for 3 months without pay. Medyo mababa yung punishment kasi na-mitigate tayo sa length of service. But that mitigation or yung pagpapababa ng penalty, discretionary na yon sa ating commission proper. Number 5, and the last prohibited act under the code is to disclose premature information on rulings on opinions na pending pa sa ating commission proper or any other COA offices. This is fleshed out by item 3.8 of our COA Circular 2013-006. Yun po yung pag-request ng documents, disposition of the request of documents. Sinasabi po doon, pwedeng i-inquire yung status ng case. Pero, hindi po pwedeng itanong kung sino ang action officer at kung ano yung magiging decision doon. Kasi po, mapipreempt natin yung magre-render ng decision. So to prevent that, and of course, we are prevented to disclose or to divulge confidential information. Alamin lang natin kung ano yung pwede natin i-share na information. So hindi lahat. And there is the COA circular to govern the request for documents, records. Yun po yung nagsiset ng limitations kung ano lang yung pwedeng hingin sa atin ng public. So, just a reminder po, although na-discuss po ito sa 6713, yung duties natin. Kasi minsan, nagiging source siya ng issue, lalo na yung number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is to protect and safeguard government money and property. We are guided by Section 2 of PD 1445, which is to prevent wastage of government resources. So, alam natin yon by heart. And number 2, maintain the integrity, confidentiality, availability, and security of official records, documents, and information. So, ito yung iniwasan natin na under our custody ay mawawala kasi we are accountable and liable for the loss of or damage to such documents. Number 3, act with utmost diligence on any official request. So, ang example po dito is yung pag-avail ng public sa pag-request sa atin ng copies ng vouchers. This is a common transaction and we are guided by 2013-006 that within 15 days from receipt by the audit team of the requesting for copies of example vouchers, we must act accordingly. Meron tayong streamlined process for that. So, susundin natin yun. Number 4, na-discuss din po kanina, declaration of SALN. And number 5, ganun din po ang divestment. So, eto po ating prohibited acts and transactions, punishable not only by admin penalties, which are constituting an offense under the civil service law. We can also be prosecuted for criminal charges. So I hope that we instill in our hearts what does integrity mean, and I will be leaving with a line that says, employment in the government is not for profit. While we are deserving of the compensation attached to our position, we must remember that working for the government, for the people, is a sacrifice that requires us to yield our private interest to the interest of the public. Because there is always a denial of self-interest as we put ahead of us the interest of the people whom we serve. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Honey G. Mori Subiera, Attorney 5 of COA XII Legal Services Sector. It's important that we take note of those prohibited acts and transactions so that maiwasan nating magkamali. And now, as requested, our Honorable Commissioner Roland C. Pundo would like to speak and add up sa conversation.
This is just one thing, but it's very important. It's just a small thing, especially on SALN. We all know we have already prepared our SALN and we have already submitted it to the HR. Just in case, na naamoy nalimtan, meron kayo nakalimutan na ilagay dito sa SALN, anytime you can change your SALN. You can submit. You just change it. You add whatever properties na wala nyo nabutang. Ang importante, nabutang nyo. Ang medyo na yung problema ta, kung diligid ninyo ibutang. So better, i-change nyo, kaon nyo balik itong old, and then tagaan yung bago nyo nga SALN. That is not prohibited, that is allowed. Ang importante, ma-declare na to completely. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Baka sa mga susunod na araw may magsasubmit ng mga panibagong SALN. At saka marami na ang declared millionaires. So once again, a round of applause to our COA XII lawyers and to Honorable Commissioner Roland C. Pundo. Earlier, our Honorable Commissioner Roland C. Pundo talked about legacy. Now we're gonna talk about it some more. In the play Hamilton, an American musical, the play artistically defined the word legacy. What is legacy? Legacy is planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. The heads of COA XII are continuously making sure that new good seeds are planted to ensure the blooming of the beautiful garden that is COA XII. The hiring and management of human resources is vital in ensuring the continued existence of a highly effective organization. This year, COA XII has new good seeds planted in the persons of our 5 newly recruited employees. But mind you, these 5 new recruits are no ordinary, for they have been serving COA XII for a long time as job order employees. With the efforts and lead taken by no less than our Regional Director, Attorney Susan P. Donalvo, CPA, these long-time job order employees are now admitted to assume permanent positions in COA XII. With pride, I introduce to everyone the 5 new recruits of COA XII. May I request them to please go in front as I call their names. Mr. Samidun K. Erbing. He's been serving COA XII for 3 years now as job order employee. Mr. Antonio M. Gabato, serving COA for 8 years now. Mr. Ryan L. Bautista, serving COA XII for 10 years now. Mr. Sunny M. Mua, serving COA XII for 11 years now. And Mr. Rizalito C. Lianda, serving COA XII for 18 years today. May we request Regional Director, Assistant Regional Director, Madam Maria Lourdes Castillo, and Commissioner Pondok to take part in this milestone of COA XII. May we request Honorable Commissioner Roland C. Pondok to administer the oath to these 5 new recruits.
Again, good morning, good noon. Of course, they have already sworn before the Regional Director. That is acceptable, but I'd like to make it also very important for you to have this occasion. You will also take your oath before the Commissioner, because asylum ako nagamit rin, asylum and Commissioner, so we take advantage. So we take your oath also, aside from the Regional Director, with the Commissioner. So I'd like you to please raise your right hand. Right hand. And please repeat after me. This is an oath of office. I, please state your name. of Commission Audit Regional Office number 12. Having been appointed to the position of, please state the position. Hereby solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties of my present position and of all others that I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines. And that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations, Sarah.
May I request ARD, Regional Director, ARD Virginia Datukan and Ascom Lulu for a group photo. Please give us your brightest smiles. In 3, 2, 1, go. A round of applause. Congratulations, Kuya Lito, Kuya Sammy, Kuya Julius, Pari Ryan, and Kuya Sammy. Again, one big round of applause for them. Congratulations. After the discussion by our COA 12 lawyers earlier regarding RA 6713 and COA Resolution number 2018-10, we are now ready to make an informed decision to make that pledge of integrity. May we request everyone to please rise and take hold of your copies and be ready to take the noble pledge of integrity. Once again, may we request Honorable Commissioner Roland C. Pondok to be in front to personally administer the oath to all the COA 12 employees.
Okay, again, this is our integrity pledge, and we will be reciting this unison, sabay-sabay ta. So I'd like to request everyone to please raise your right hand. This is a commitment to ethical practices and good governance as an employee of the Commission Audit. So let's start. I believe that corruption has been one of the biggest impediments to economic growth and prosperity in the Philippines and has been eroding the moral fiber of this society. As an employee of the Commission on Audit, who is committed to genuine public service and as an enabling partner of good governance in promoting transparency, accountability, integrity, and the rule of law, I acknowledge my responsibility to lead by example in the fight against corruption and to ethically render my services with integrity. In view of the foregoing, I hereby pledge the following. I shall discharge my duties with the highest degree of competence, excellence, independence, and professionalism. I shall abide and practice by heart the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for COA officials and employees. I shall advocate the true essence of public service by ensuring that all my actions and decisions are guided accordingly with the goal of serving solely the interests of the public and not my own. I shall continue to improve intellectually and morally and shall always strive to be an agent of change for better. I shall work side by side with the civil societies in enhancing transparency and enforcing accountability in government service. I shall integrate in my work the concept of social and environmental responsibility as an indispensable factor to efficient and effective delivery of public service. I shall create a healthy working relationship with agency people by inculcating in their minds that we are enablers and not deterrents in the development of our country. I shall be vigilant but not distrustful, and I shall uphold and practice courtesy, modesty, and humility at all times, and I shall value my job because it is God's natural gift to me. Therefore, I will not betray His trust by using it other than for His glory. Ultimately, as an employee of the Commission and Audit, I pledge my integrity to commit my services following ethical practices and standards for good governance without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Thank you, congratulations, and thank you so much for your cooperation. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Roland C. Pundo. May we request our beloved Regional Director and Assistant Regional Director, together with Commissioner Roland C. Pundo, to approach the table where the ceremonial signing of Integrity Pledge shall be done for everyone to witness. Let us all witness the signing of the written copy of the pledge by our beloved Regional Director and Assistant Regional Director, together with Honorable Commissioner Roland C. Pundo. May I encourage everyone to please sign the copies of the pledge and later submit it to the Secretariat for filing. Thank you very much, Commissioner Roland C. Pundo, Regional Directors, Attorney Susan P. Donalmo, CPA, and Assistant Regional Director, Virginia G. Natuto, CPA. Thank you also to all my fellow COA XII employees who took part in making this noble pledge of integrity. Once again, let us celebrate this momentous event with a big round of applause. Now that we have made that pledge, we are duty bound to maintain the highest degree of integrity so that we, COA employees, can proudly perform our jobs, as we know for ourselves that we are honest, competent, professional, responsible, and are persons of untainted integrity. We COA XII employees are honored as one of our VIP guests, Madam Maria Lourdes Castillo, former Assistant Commissioner of Government Accounting Sector and currently the Consultant for Gender Development, have graced our event. May we request Madam Maria Lourdes Castillo, to give us an inspirational message. Let us welcome her with a big round of applause.
Thank you very much, Attorney Salik, the new lawyer of Region 12. The Honorable Commissioner Roland Pondo. Of course, my good friend, Director Susan and Director Virgie. Lahat po mga staff, no, employees and officials of COA Region 12. Now I can say, I am proud to be a COA from Region 12. I stayed in Region 12 for more than 20 years. I left March of 1996, sir. I left COA Region 12 in 1996 as supervising or provincial auditor of North Cotabato in Kidapawan. And I still have some of my staff here. Nandito pa sila. Mas maganda lang ako, kaya may tanda na sila tingnan. And after that, I was transferred by the chair to COA Region 11 as Assistant Regional Director. And your director now, Director Susan, was one of our supervising auditors in Davao at that time. She was there. So I stayed in Davao for only 4 months because by September of that same year, I was reshuffled to Bicol or Region 5 as OIC Director. And there in Bicol, napakalayo. I cried dahil wala naman akong kakilala doon. But I accepted the challenge because I know even if I will not accept it, I can be reshuffled anytime by the chair because of the reshuffling policy of COA. So I got it, I was reshuffled there as OIC, and in 9 months, I was promoted to a full-fledged regional director of Region 5. I stayed there for 4 years almost. And I was reshuffled to Pampanga, Region 3, nearer COA Central Office. And for 2 years in Pampanga, I was reassigned in Metro Manila. And there, I became the director of EGS Cluster 3. Some of you here are my staff before. And until that, in 2007, I was promoted to Assistant Commissioner. I thank the Lord enormously and enduring thanking the Lord and thanking COA for bringing my feet to the Commission on Audit. I have enjoyed a lot of perks, gained a lot of friends. I have seen the world for free because of hard work, because maybe of integrity that we are in now, and I am proud of Commissioner Pondo has initiated one of this kind. Kanina, habang ang mga taga Region 12 na mga bata, the young ones, the new recruits were performing here. Alam nyo, naiyak ako, Sabi ko, buti na lang, medyo naka-retire na talaga ako, otherwise I cannot. And I'm very proud, no? Itong mga bata, I can see a brighter future in you years from now. I told Commissioner Pondo and Director Virgie there, sana ang presentation na ginawa nyo kanina, yun sana ang piniresent nyo sa COA Week sa Manila, nanalo talaga kayo. Yeah. Not because of the mga props, na isang barkong props. Not because of the ganda-ganda ng mga damit. ang ganda ng performance, whatever. It's because of the very meaningful thing that you have shown. Ang ganda. Oh, so sabi ko, naiyak talaga ako, nagtulog. Sabi ko, imagine, sino kaya ang behind nito? Oh, sabi niya, mayroon daw 2, pati 4 daw. I know some of the names. I would like to say congratulations to all of you. Sabi ko, kahit wala pa kayong sayaw, di ba maraming sayaw-sayaw kanina? After that, ano lang yun? Pandagdag lang yun. The meat of the show, the meat of the performance is the kind that deliver the message to everyone. Do you agree? Ha? Message, maganda. Tingnan nyo yung mga ginawa nyo. Very nice. How I wish, it also did touch your lives and your hearts. Sabi nga ni Kong, sa integrity, may forever. Integrity is forever. Sa GSIS, sabi nila may forever. From womb to tomb. Sabi nila sa pag-ibig, walang kasiguraduhan. Kasi pwede pa daw pag-ibig maghiwalay. Kasi pag nag-break, nag-away, which is gender, there is no forever. In integrity, there is forever. And with your showing now, ang ganda-ganda. I really like. This is the first time that I have seen it. Sir, talaga. It's not because Commissioner Pondok is here. This is the first time that I have witnessed an oath-taking, for this integrity pledge, because I was retired. I retired December 28. And he was then roaming around the other regional offices. Siyempre, hindi naman ako talaga active na organic employee. But to tell you honestly, I am very proud to be from Mindanao because I have accepted a lot of challenges during my time. There were ups and downs. Sinong magsalita na walang temptation? Sinong magsabi na walang mali na nakomit? No one will claim that you are the most honest woman or man in the world. Let other people say it to you. Hindi ikaw. I said, with my enduring and enormous thanks and gratitude to the one up above, that I have retired from the government service after 44 years of government service. I thank him because I was able to graduate in COA without any case filed against me. And enjoyed my terminal benefits. Yumaman din ako ngayon. Mayaman ka. Sa terminal leave mo, may milyon ka. Milyonarya ka eh. And you are very proud because you have left a legacy. Kanina, legacy, ang term. I would like to say congratulations to Director Susan. She will soon graduate from COA. Director Susan, if I may call you, ang buhay ng retiree ay malungkot din. Kung sanay kang maraming ginagawa, gumigising ng maaga, mag-report sa work, then all of a sudden, wala ka na palang pasukan. Malungkot, sanay ang buhay mo sa ganon. But, I was so lucky, during the first year of Commissioner Pondok in COA, he was new. He was very young until now. And he saw me during activities in COA na, sikat-sikat ako sa COA kasi mataba ako, malaki ako, matapang ako, sabi nila. So I was designated as head of the gender and development in COA. And he told me in one of the activities in the COA week, Ma'am, because ganyan siya ka-modest, humble as he is, lahat kaming mga ASCOM ina-address niyang ma'am and sir, despite the fact na siya ay commissioner. Sabi niya, Ma'am Lulu, pwede bang magstay ka sa COA? Mag-serve ka na commissioner sa consultant sa akin? Pwede ba? Sus, hindi niya lang alam kung gaano ko kasaya. Ha? Hindi ko nga alam kung ako'y dapat magsaya, na dapat ay ako'y magpahinga na. I'm single, so what for? Ha? Suroy-suroy na lang. O, naa ka na'y kwarta nga kamay. Ha? Na ako na'y nangita sa mga dalaga kanina, ingon ako isa. Ha? You know, sabi ni Sir Pondo, mag-serve ka muna sa akin as consultant. Tulungan mo ako kasi the first commissioner or the second commissioner will be the head of the steering committee of God, and he will also be the chair of the PISAS board, standards board, accounting board sa COA. And I happen to be the head of the sector ng gas. So tumama talaga ako doon sa mga kailangan niya. And I said when I retired, are you still interested to take me as consultant? Of course, sabi niya sa akin. And the chairperson of COA, si Chair Aguinaldo, told me, we needed you in COA, Lulu. We needed you. Kahit nandoon ka naka-assign kay Commissioner Pondo, you are still a consultant of COA and not of COM1 alone. Yun sabi sa akin ni Chair. So I was really very proud. And the legacy, going back to Director Susan, yours, lahat ito legacy mo ito, San. Pagbalik mo dito, kita ko lang buildings. You have made a legacy that people won't forget. Ikaw may mag-retire 20 years from now, nandyan ang pangalan mo nakaukit. Nandyan ang pangalan mo na kung wala si Susan Donaldo, siguro ito hindi natuloy. San? I have made a lot of that in COA. In Region 5, I built the original office there na bago nilang pati dorm, pati nanunat pangalan ko. Ang dami kong ang dormitory sa Manila na bago na parang Soho Hotel, orange ang pintura. I was the one, akin yun, as admin sector head. I have. And I am very proud that I have made some legacies na talagang gustong-gusto ko rin marinig. Until now, I am very proud that when I go back to the central office, my friends are still there to welcome me. Parang taga-COA pa rin ako. Dahil wala akong inaway doon, wala akong Pag inaaway ako, matapang ako. Ay lumalaban ako, basta sa tama. Huwag kang lumaban kung ikaw ay mali, lumuhod ka. Huwag kang lumaban kung ikaw ay mali. And ako kahit janitor po, sir, sa central office, ginabiso-biso ko yan. Wala akong yan. Because one day, when you go out of the gates of COA, at ikaw ay babalik at ang sama ng ugali mo, walang magbating sa'yo. Madapa ka sana, sabi ng mga, ay ganun yun, totoo yun. My God, sabi ko, ang saya-saya ko, nakapunta ko ng Region 12 ngayon. When I was invited by Director Susan, I really bought my ticket at once, Susan. So I do not have to wait for the office order from the chair because I am no longer. So I bought my ticket and I said I will go there. Anyway, nandyan naman si Sir Pondo, kasama ko siya sa affair na ganito. Maraming salamat. You have remembered your old friend from Region 12. Alam nyo ba na pag tinatanong ako kung saan ako nanggaling? Sabi ko sa Region 12, ang original, na doon ako na-hire. Nalipat ako kung saan-saan hanggang nakarating ako dito. I am very proud ako to have been one of the assistant commissioners in COA coming from Mindanao, from Region 12. Muntik pa nga ako Muntik pa ako. Si Sir siguro kung hindi pinanganak, baka naging commissioner ako. Ha? Nandun si Sir. Alam nyo, I am proud that also Commissioner Pondo, one of our youngest, hindi ko alam kung sino mas matanda sa kanila ni Kong Heidi before. At saka siya palagi ko Sir naalaala ang sinasabi mo. Tao lang, tao talaga. Di ba Sir palagi mo sinasabi sa akin? Huwag daw yung mga tao kailangan alagaan sila. And we need someone who will understand people. Because it's your people that will make anything something or make anything magdala ng tao, tapos ka na. Wala, no? So, talaga sa mga bata ngayon ha, lahat kayo kanina nandito, we feel insecure about the future of COA. Baka magiging pride kayo lahat-lahat ha. I will not wonder if one of you will also become an assistant commissioner, a commissioner in the near future. After 10, 15 years. Ha? Huwag kayong magmadali. Ha? Kami noon, once in 10 years, saka lang kami ma-promote. Ngayon, 3 years pa lang. Nagreklamo na, hindi na-promote. Oh my God. Huwag kayong magmadali. Wait for your time. Be patient. Just work. Pakita nyo. And see the world for free also later. Ang importante po sa lahat, naka-retire kayo na walang kaso. Anihin mo yan, ang 20 years, 40 years in service. If at the end, you will end up not claiming anything, a case being filed against you, you end up in jail, all your children, your grandchildren will suffer. I hope, my friends, sana po ako po ay nakaiwan din sa inyo ng magandang mensahe. Malaki po ang inyong magagawa. And I'm really very proud that even if you're coming from the farthest maybe region, may magagaling sa atin dito na dapat nating ipagyabang. Hindi tayo mahihiya. Sabi nga ni Kompundok, well, taga Mindanao ta. Pero kay nanikamot man ta, deserving man ta, di man ta pa sa ilaha. Kasi alam mo ang trabaho, alam nyo ang trabaho. Alam natin yun, alam natin ang mali sa tama. So, how can we be afraid? No? Sabi nga ni Chair, Sir, sabihin ko po sa inyo, kahapon tumawag po sa akin si Mayor Sakdalan. Mayor na siya ngayon, congressman siya dati ng Alamada. I was really surprised because he called me up. Kumusta ka na, ma'am? Assistant Commissioner? So, sabi ko, Sakdalan. Sinagot ko, si Kong, ako magtawag sa iya, Kong, nag-retire na po ako. December 28. Oo nga, sabi ni Chairperson, nag-retire ka na, but you were taken as consultant of COA. Believe din naman ako sa iyo, sabi niya sa akin. You know what is really gratifying? Sinabi niya sa akin, I called you up to say and to tell you two things. Si Chair daw, sir, kausap niya sa Congress. He was there in a committee meeting. And the Chair daw said, oh, Lulu, your kababayan has retired December 28, but I still needed her. So I took her as consultant of COA because we needed her services. She left a very good legacy on gender development, and she has done something very good for COA. Di ba masayang pakinggan, sasabihin sa ibang tao na ganon? Sabi ko talagang sinabi niya yan. Sabi ko, Kong, yes, sabi niya. Sinabi niya na matapang ka daw, lumalaban ka daw, you have, ang word niya ay, you are engaging whoever is challenging COA, sabi niya. Kasi sir, palagi ko sinasabi sa PCW, ay hindi yan inyong sinasabi, hindi tama yan, ganito dapat. At sino ang dapat panindigan, sino ang dapat paniwalaan? So I really engaged the AGCs will challenge. Sabi niya, matapang yun, kaya gusto ko siya. Sabi, oh my God, sabi ko, pagbalik ko sa Manila next week, I will say thank you to Chairperson Aguinaldo. Napakaliit na bagay, pero malaki po sa aming puso. Ang ikaw po ay ma-acknowledge na munti o pinakamaliit mo na ginawa. I would like you, not maybe tell you completely, na sundin nyo anong ginawa ko, kay kunti lang naman ang akin, no? At marami din akong mali. But please, in integrity, there is forever. We can hire people, i-hire lang natin sila not because of the skills, but because of their attitude and integrity. Kasi ang madali, ang utak at ang skill ay matutunan nila sa COA. We have series of capacity building seminars. We can develop that. Pero kung ang ugali ay masama at yan ay talagang sinungaling at magnanakaw from the very start, no capacity building or whatever can correct. So, my friends, again, Director Susan, Director G, thank you very much for inviting me here. I wish everyone a very good and smooth sailing COA Region 12. Yes, I am proud to be from Region 12. Magandang umaga po sa atin.
It was indeed an inspirational message coming from Madam Maria Lourdes Castillo, former Assistant Commissioner of Government Accounting Sector and currently the Consultant for Gender and Development. Maraming kapupulutang inspirasyon mula sa ating kapamilya at kababayan ni Isay na si Ascom Lulu. Now that we have a renewed commitment to uphold integrity, we may find good use for some more pieces of wisdom from the other honorable members of the Commission proper. We can never get enough inspiration from the people around us, especially from the heads of our Commission. At a point that we have to update our to-do list. For the millennials, we have to add up or update our virtually non-existing bucket lists that we talk about. We have to make it 2 points longer. First, to memorize our integrity pledge. And second, to memorize COA XII. Tapos, third, I could add one more thing. Umiwas-iwas kayo mga kimites, kayo baka bigla integrity pledge. I-recite mo nga. or pakintahin ka ng COA XII. Medyo useful yung ubo-ubo. Hindi pwede. just kidding. They say nothing lasts forever, even all good things come to an end. But in relation to integrity, that is not true. For our beloved Commissioner Roland C. Condoc said earlier, when success has come and gone, integrity will last. But in relation to this program, even beautiful things like this gathering must come to conclusion. And for that, we welcome our ever beautiful, ever graceful, lovely Assistant Regional Director Virginia G. Latungon, CPA, for the closing remarks. Let us welcome her with a big round of applause.
Thank you, Rash. Our beloved Commissioner, Sir Roland C. Condoc, Assistant Commissioner na retired, Ma'am Lourdes Castillo, was really one of us before. Of course, our Director, Ma'am Susan, our esteemed guests, our energetic co-workers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Nung ginawa ko ito morning good afternoon na ngayon. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our guests for gracing this occasion and sharing your valuable time with us. And of course, I would like to thank also and congratulate everyone who tirelessly worked to make this momentous event a success. Indeed, today is a landmark day for us here in COA Regional Office number 12. While today may be considered the birth of a new era in our office, the truth is we just entered a merging phase. The new, there is already a formally verbalized integrity pledge. And the old, our personal commitment to uphold the highest standards in the performance of our duties and responsibilities. As we combine the old and the new, we now move forward with a more solid commitment, one that we all knew by heart then, but have now made known to each and everyone here today. This undertaking is also a display of unity we have in COA. Because our office is not just an office, it is a family united in its commitment to personal and professional growth. To my fellow COA 12 employees, thank you for taking this huge step, and congratulations on always striving to be better versions of ourselves. That's all. Have a great day ahead and good afternoon once again.
Thank you very much, Assistant Regional Director Virginia G. Latungon, CPA, for giving this program a very heartwarming conclusion with your closing remarks. Once again, in behalf of the team headed by Ms. Amy Tesbalilla, with the assistance of Sir R.J. Astillero and Sir Romeo Nunez, we would like to thank you all for actively participating to this program. May we leave this venue feeling proud that we are persons of integrity and honest public servants. This has been Rasul M. Sadiq. Thank you very much for listening. I now bid you goodbye and wish you well from this point forward. God bless us all.